There's nothing better than popping a crisp sugar cookie into your mouth during the Christmas season. And today I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on how to make the best sugar cookie. Hi, I am Stephanie Muller and I am from the Office of Alumni Relations. Let's get started. Okay, so there's a little bit of prep work to making the dough. You want to make your dough, I do the night before because you need it cold and it needs to rest at least 2 hours. So if you make it in the morning and then 2 hours later you want to roll it out and cut, that's fine. I do it the night before. And to help with the dough, when you finish making it up, and I'm going to show you what I do, I make little balls of dough, and because it's easier to cut, because it's going to be really cold when you pull it out, and it's easier to cut it up to make your sugar cookies. Here's a tip. For sugar cookies, you want a cold surface. So we have marble. This is a huge piece of marble. You don't need a piece this big. You can go to an antique store or a junk shop or secondhand shop. They will have slabs of marble that you can buy. We went up to Miss Pete Pickens right up the street, and this is where I got this. And I would take this with me when I go to my girlfriend's house because we roll cookies pre-COVID. So you want to take one of your little balls, and I just cut it in half. So this is just a half of a ball. And here's another tip. We do not use flour. We use sugar to roll out our dough. It keeps it sweet and doesn't take away from the flavor. So then you want to take it, you need to make sure you've got sugar on your marble, and you can see my rolling pin. I've been using it this morning, and we're just going to roll it out. And I was not allowed to roll sugar cookies when I was younger. When my mother and my sister and I would do this, I had the oven duty. So you want to get this as thin as possible. And my mother always said you should be able to see the marble through your dough. So we want to get it as thin as possible. And sometimes you may have to scrape it a little bit off the marble so you can move it to get it as thin as you can. And I think I can see my marble through this. And then here's the fun part. We have so many cookie cutters. So you want to find the ones that A, you like, B, that are successful, that it doesn't rip apart when you pull it off the marble. And if you get a cookie cutter that has a lot of, it's really detailed and really little, you can always pull it out and make it bigger. So then when you go to cut, you'll get the whole thing. That was something we learned early on. So, like this is an excellent one. Nice big round Santa, he's perfect. This one, the snowflake, yeah, we had to pull him out. The elephant, I think I had to pull that out too because of the trunk. So anyhow, so now we go to cut. So you take whatever you're going to use. This is a little mitten. And you just start cutting it. And I press down, I kind of wiggle a little bit because it loosens it up so you can pick it up with your spatula. And that's the other tip. The spatula, the all-important spatula. You need it so thin that so you can get underneath this dough, because the dough is very delicate now because it's been rolled out and it's very thin. So you need this type of spatula to pull it up. If not, it's not going to work. So, and you try to use up as much space as possible. So that's when the little the cookie cutters come into play, because you can fill in the tiny spots and get a cookie. Okay, now you've got all your dough is used up. Now we're going to lift it up and put it onto a pan. So here's another tip. Parchment paper on your baking pan, because if you don't and you just use grease, they'll stick. And parchment paper, whoever invented it, is a saint, because this has saved us many a time. So now you're going to have to scrape off, and it is scraping out your dough. I know you can hear it because I'm really pushing down on the spatula to get underneath of the dough. And it's very, very thin. And these can sit close together because they don't spread or anything. So you want to fill the pan up before you bake it. Put it in the oven. Okay, and then you can reuse the dough. It's a very forgiving dough. So push it all together, and I used to take whatever I have over here or get another bowl, and you want to make it together, push all the bits out of the way, put down more sugar. And you can be very generous with the sugar. Oh, and by the way, when you're done, you're gonna have to clean your floor because you'll see crumbs everywhere and sugar everywhere. It'll be very sticky. So don't forget to wash your floor when you're done. So here we go, we're gonna roll it out. So once you have, your pan is full, we're going to pop it into the oven for about 5 minutes, but that depends on your own oven. If you want them, and also how brown you like them. Brown is okay, lightly toasted, so to speak, is probably best. So we're going to pop this right into the oven. I'm going to put my timer on because you'll forget, you get caught up rolling, and you won't realize that they're in there because we've done that. We've burnt several. We usually burn the last pan that goes in because we're cleaning up. Always gets burnt. Time has passed about 6 minutes, and we have sugar cookies. And these are nice, and they all won't be the same brownness because of the dough when it was cut. So some are a little bit brown or some are less brown, but this is the perfect. All right, so they're done. And this is why we use parchment paper, because it is the easiest way and the best way to get the cookies off the cookie sheet. And also notice that some are browner and some aren't. That one was thicker. No worries, it will taste just as good when they cool off. Or you can eat them as you bake them. That's always fun too. And they just pop right off. So this is easy peasy. And you don't want to pile them up on each other. You want to let them cool, and then once they cool, then you can put them in the pile. So, and you can see how much it makes. So we're not even done yet, and this is only one recipe. So super easy. All right, so let's recap. Here are the tips and tricks from today's session. Sugar cookies. Make the dough at least 2 hours ahead of time. I prefer overnight. And make them into balls, about the size of a baseball, so easy for cutting. Make sure you have a piece of marble. Make sure we use 10x sugar for rolling, because that's important. Your cookie cutters, if they're too detailed or small spaces, you can pull them out. It helps with cutting. We have parchment paper for to help with getting them off the cookie sheet after they're done cooking. And the most important, the all important, can't do it without it, the spatula. And you can get this at any home store, any gadget store. Mom and I think got these in Pennsylvania, and my sister, I think she got hers in Bed Bath & Beyond. Thanks. Happy baking.